Not scared of sharks? Well, this video might change your mind. Today's video will show you chilling close encounters with these predators, from a bull shark ramming boats to a great white attack that resulted in lost limbs. But first, let's look at a hammerhead shark literally hammer its way into this video. Number 10. One aggressive hammerhead. When you think of aggressive sharks, great whites and bull sharks will always come to mind. Hammerhead sharks, they barely factor into the conversation. However, never ever sleep on these guys, as they can be extremely aggressive when they need to and have documented attacks on people. Kayak fisherman Mark McCracken was one of the unfortunate people who had a terrifying encounter with one of these sharks. In this clip, you can clearly see them trying to ram McCracken's kayak, possibly trying to upturn or even capsize the small boat. The terrified man tried to fend the shark off with his paddle, and it kinda worked, at least for a while. The shark did back down for a moment, but quickly circled around to continue the onslaught, and the shark went at it for around 15 minutes. Having a shark trying its best to capsize your boat and possibly eating you is horrible enough, but the sheer terror that McCracken felt during this encounter was amplified by the fact that he was all alone in the open water. Good thing he still had the presence of mind to film the entire thing, allowing us to share in the chilling experience. Number 9, and here's another hammerhead. And just to hammer the point home that hammerheads aren't docile sharks with funny shaped heads, here's another close encounter with one of these predators. This drone footage clearly shows a huge hammerhead shark make a beeline towards an unwitting swimmer in Miami Beach. Even more terrifying is the fact that the man is totally oblivious to the danger that was approaching. The swimmer who had spotted the drone by this time even gave the drone camera a thumbs up. Meanwhile, the shark was creeping closer and closer to the swimmer. In fact, it came so close that the swimmer nearly hit the shark's head with his feet. Whether the shark was actually in the process of making a meal out of the man is unclear. As the footage shows, the shark approached rapidly but actually swims right past him. It's possible that the shark was after a different target, probably a small fish. All's well that ends well at least, and the shark soon leaves the scene, leaving the swimmer none the wiser. Number 8. Teens vs. Shark. Australia, with its thousands of miles of coastline, is a beachgoer's paradise. But all that coastline is a double-edged sword, as Australia is also ground zero for shark attacks. Now, it should be stated that only a small percentage of all those attacks are fatal, but I'm sure you'll agree with me that all of them are unnerving. Take this shark encounter by these teens. Siblings Baxter and Tala Hanley were spearfishing at Bully Point just off the coast of Sydney when they had their close encounter with a pretty large copper shark. This particular species of shark is not particularly aggressive, but this one gave the siblings a scare as the shark swam towards them. As the teens were carrying freshly caught fish with them, it's possible that the shark was attracted to that rather than trying to make a meal out of the teens. Still, the presence of the shark was enough to make the siblings scream for help, which was fortunately heard by their father despite the teens being underwater. Number 7. Breaking cages. Shark cage diving is rapidly becoming very popular, even for people who aren't adrenaline junkies, like me for instance. That is perhaps because the cage gives the people inside it a sense of security, thinking that the dangerous shark swimming around outside has no way to get inside. Or do they? Watch this cameraman calmly dodging the incoming shark. But wait, was that even supposed to happen? These shark cages are designed to keep the ocean predators out, with the gaps in the bars small enough to make sure that no shark can get in. However, this shark's head was actually small enough for it to slip through. Fortunately, no one was hurt during the incident, something that I can't say for the next clip. Watch as these divers cower as a shark aggressively tries to reach for them. It's clear to see that the shark was trying its best to get at the divers, but in this case, the cage did its job. A little too well if you ask me. The shark was trapped in between the bars by its gills and eventually bled out and died. Number 6. Sink that cage. Here's more proof that those shark cages aren't really as safe as they look. During the filming of a Discovery Channel documentary, a crew of filmmakers and divers organized a great white shark expedition to film the great predators just off the coast of Stewart Island. To ensure the diver's safety, he filmed the sharks while inside a one-man cage. Now, while these cages are strong enough to keep the shark at bay, there are other ways for the shark to get access into the juicy, man-shaped morsel that was trapped inside. The 18-foot great white clearly knew that it wasn't going to be able to bite through reinforced steel bars, so it opted for a different approach, sinking the cage entirely. The massive predator started to chomp down on one of the buoys that is keeping the cage afloat and succeeded in puncturing it. The entire crew didn't anticipate the shark doing this, and it's clear that the diver was getting pretty nervous about the situation. The clip then ends there, so we're not sure whether the shark also attacked the other buoy. I'm thinking it didn't, because if this thing ended in tragedy, I'm pretty sure that the footage wouldn't make it into the documentary. Number 5. Lucky to be alive. Although a majority of great white shark attacks aren't fatal, these apex predators will surely leave their mark on their victims, both psychologically and physically. This amazing footage taken in 1994 illustrates just how much damage these sharks can do to a human body. This vicious shark encounter shows the terrifying moment a 16-foot great white shark attacked a 19-year-old Heather Marie Boswell while swimming off the coast of Chile. The shark successfully ripped one of Heather's legs off as her friends desperately tried to pull her away to safety. The attack was so sudden, Heather only realized she was missing a leg when she was pulled onto a boat. She was given first aid immediately and was rushed to a nearby island where she received more intensive medical help. Needless to say, she was lucky to be alive. Heather's story became widely known when it was featured in the Discovery Channel's Shark Week, providing us with an amazing story of survival as well as clearly showing us all just how dangerous great white sharks can be. Number 4. We're live, pal! Expect the unexpected. That is one good thing about live TV broadcasts. Just imagine the hundreds of unexpectedly funny moments live TV has given us. There is, however, a flip side to that, as these live feeds can also show us things that networks wouldn't normally broadcast uncensored. Shark attacks are one of them. In this footage that was broadcast live, Australian professional surfer Mike Fanning had to fight for dear life as a huge shark went for him during a surfing competition that was being held at Jeffreys Bay, South Africa, prime great white shark country. Fanning was in the water waiting for his run to begin when what was later identified as a large tiger shark attacked him. Millions of people were watching the events unfold live as Fanning was seen struggling to get away from the rabid predator. Later viewing of the footage actually showed that there was another shark involved, meaning that Fanning actually survived being in the water with 2 sharks instead of 1. Naturally, the competition was immediately cancelled, with the organizers prioritizing the safety of all competitors. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Now, is it possible for a shark to jump out of the water to catch its prey? Not in shallow water, of course, so this photo is clearly a fake. But it is true that these sharks can breach water, and footage to prove that is right up next. Number 3. The breach. I know it's hard to imagine one of these behemoths jumping out of the water, but the fact is that they do, and in one specific part of the world, they do it on a regular basis. Seal Island in South Africa is the setting where one of the most dramatic and explosive predator and prey situations takes place. The island, which should be obvious from its name, is called home by thousands of seals. And because of that, the waters surrounding the island is filled with opportunistic predators, great white sharks being some of them. In these waters, great white sharks can be regularly seen jumping out of the water, a behavior called breaching. They do this in order to effectively catch seals. The sharks dive down below the seal, then swim up at speeds of 40 miles an hour, and its momentum can propel it up to 10 feet into the air, usually with a fat, juicy seal in its mouth. This behavior uses so much energy, great white sharks rarely do it. But in a place like Seal Island, where every hunt usually ends in success, breaching is much more common. Number 2. Angry bull shark. When it comes to sheer aggressiveness, bull sharks trump all other shark species. And yes, that includes even great white sharks. These sharks are known man-eaters and have attacked people with little to no provocation at all, as proven by this footage. This short clip shows fishermen on 2 small boats being attacked by an angry bull shark. The shark was under the boats and was ramming them, seemingly wanting to turn the boats over. The attack was so sudden it terrified one of the fishermen so much that he could be seen nearly falling off the boat as his companions anxiously tried to process the situation. The shark's ominous silhouette can be seen lurking just below the boats as the attacks continue to happen. Given the aggressive reputation of bull sharks, I would not be surprised if this particular shark just decided to try and capsize these boats on a whim. Number 1. Great white, close call. As we've already established, the waters off of South Africa is prime great white shark country. That's why I find it hard to believe that there are still people who continue to swim in those waters, even scuba dive and spearfish. In this chilling GoPro footage, you can see one spearfisherman having one uncomfortable close call with one of these sharks. As the spearfisherman dives, you can immediately see how murky the water is. Visibility is extremely poor. That's why he was surprised when a small great white shark suddenly appeared close to him, as if out of nowhere. As the shark approaches him, it was only his spear gun that kept the shark at bay. The shark swam away, and the man used this opportunity to swim to the surface. As soon as he broke the water, he warned his companions about the danger swimming below them. At this point, he looked into the water briefly and saw the same shark circling dangerously close below him. Fortunately, the crew had brought the boat around and managed to pull their mate to safety before the situation got out of hand. See you guys next time.